So I think by default, that puts Larry Bird on Kevin Durant. I'm going to approach this as if I were the coach of each team. So when we're talking about matchups and where we're going to start strategically on the old school team, who's going to guard the new school team, I think I would have to start with Larry Bird because of the 6 players on the court. Larry is most obviously the least athletic. Even a super healthy prime of his career, Larry Bird is still by far the least athletic player out of these 6 players. So obviously you don't want him guarding a peak prime LeBron, because LeBron is one of the most athletic mobile players ever. Like, if he drives to the basket, you can't stop him. You don't want Larry on Steph, because Steph's known for movement, being agile, especially moving without the ball. Even a peak Larry Bird could not keep up with a healthy prime Steph. So I think by default, that puts Larry Bird on Kevin Durant. Now, the question is that a good matchup? How would that matchup go? Well, Kevin Durant's 6'11", and Larry Bird's 6'8", and by far, Kevin Durant is more athletic than Larry Bird, but Kevin Durant is more of a stationary player than either of his teammates. So I think it only makes sense to put Larry on him because Kevin Durant's not gonna be moving around and being as mobile and agile as his teammates. So it makes most sense to put Larry on KD for me. In terms of how Larry would do guarding Kevin Durant, I think as long as Larry Bird was able to get within touching range of Kevin Durant, because Kevin's not going to be roaming around the court, running around a whole lot. If Larry's close enough to touch Kevin Durant, I think he can be a very pesky, obstacle, annoying kind of defender. Obviously, with any of these players, any of these matchups, nobody's going to shut anybody down, of course, but Larry can at least stay with KD and be a nuisance, probably in a physical, almost a bullying way that Kevin Durant's probably never experienced before in his entirety of his basketball career, because that's just how players, especially the Larry Birds of the day back in the 80s, that's just how they play defense. It was just physical. I'm not necessarily trying to say Larry Bird is or would be a dirty defender, but Larry would probably, if he had the chance, especially if his team was losing down points, get in close to throw a couple elbows, maybe pinch you, maybe get some pressure points and grab you, or step on your foot on purpose and stuff like that. That's just the way defense was in the 80s when Bird was in his prime. If Larry had the chance to do some of that stuff to Kevin Durant, obviously Kevin's much more agile and athletic than Larry, but I think all of that stuff, and to go along with the psychological trash talking that Bird would no doubt be doing to Kevin Durant, it would be more of a psychological kind of defense that Larry would be playing on KD. He would be annoying, he would be an obstacle, he would be a pest. He would probably try to bully Kevin Durant, and who could blame Larry Bird for trying to do that to Kevin Durant? Again, how much impact that would have on the super gifted, athletic, super long, tall Kevin Durant, I don't know, but I think it would at least have some kind of an impact. It would at least impede Kevin Durant to some degree. It's not like Kevin Durant could just drive and shoot around Larry Bird and as if Larry's not even there. Larry would at least create at least a psychological obstacle, physical obstacle to Kevin Durant.